Welcome to the Rich and Simple Living. My name's Maria. If you're new here, I vlog mainly about homeschooling, urban homesteading and home life. Today it's a bit of a mixture of things. I'm going to be doing some cooking. I'm starting off by making some raspberry bread. This is my daughter Lisa's idea. She's saying, I've got some raspberries, Mum, can we make some bread with it? Well, I've not got a recipe for raspberry bread, so I'm just going to take a basic bread recipe and just add raspberries, because I've seen one for some dried tomatoes and that was basically just adding the dried tomatoes. I thought, well, maybe the same theory will work for the raspberries. Trial and error, isn't it? So I'm going to do it in my bread making machine. So I'm not with my air fryer today, it's the bread making machine. But normally, I'm filming this on, well, you're seeing this on a Tuesday. Normally I would be doing a homeschooling vlog, but because it's summer holidays, Sean's having a holiday, so we're not really doing any homeschooling at the moment or homeschooling vlogs. Probably start again a bit towards September when we're getting ready to start back into schooling. But anyway, what we have been doing, we've been going out and about places and doing things which are all very educational. So I'm going to start this bread off, and then while it's doing, we'll go and take a look at where we've been visiting. So first of all, we'll start this bread off. So like I say, we're going to do a basic bread mixture, and we're going to start by throwing 1 1/4 teaspoon of dried yeast into it, fast action yeast. Getting some scissors to cut it. I did have some open, but I've had it open for a bit, and I found the last time I used it, after it had been open a while, the bread didn't rise, so the yeast wasn't any good. So I've thrown that and got another one. So what did I say? 1 1/4 teaspoons. Actually, what I'll do, so you can see what I'm doing, like I do with my air fryer, I'll bring you down a bit so you can see. Move all my ingredients around. I've got even less space today because I've had to put the bread maker further across, because if you can see with the lid, if it goes further that way, the lid won't open because it's the top of the unit, whereas the air fryer goes right under there with room for all the heat. So I've got less space with this. But anyway, we'll make a mess normally doing this. Quite a messy thing. I get it everywhere measuring into these little pots. So we're going to do 1 1/4, so we'll do the one first. Just throw it into the basin bit in the middle of there. Now we've just got to guess 1/4 really. Pop that back in there. Try and clean up as I go. With having such a small kitchen, you need all the space you can get. So that's the yeast gone in. Then we need some strong white bread flour. There, we got a cup, so it's 4 cups of that. So we'll just move them out the way. Top 4 cups. This is messy. If I don't tip the yeast, I normally end up tipping this, getting it everywhere. So we've got a bit overboard already. So 1. 2. When it gets near the bottom, it's harder to get out. Ooh. Lisa's behind me laughing because I'm getting it everywhere, but if anybody's watched any of my bread making ones before, they'll see what kind of mess I've got into. That one's empty. Let's open a new one. Put that out of the way. I can get in it. This one's glued down well. Cheese it out of it. Not too bad. We're doing all right, Lisa. Stop laughing. It has fully gone over the side before now, I tell you. Right, I'll pop that out of the way. Now, You can add salt to it, but anybody who knows me knows I don't tend to put salt in very many things. So I've never put the salt in the bread yet. People say, oh, it brings out your flavour and everything, but it's such a lot of salt as well that you put in, I think. It says 2.5 teaspoons, and that's an awful lot. I'd rather miss the salt. And I've been making bread a while, and it's caused no problems. And I wouldn't say that my bread is flavourless, because it always tastes really nice. So I'm going to miss out the salt. We'll go to the sugar though. I'm not a big lover of sugar either, because I think sugar's poison. But I will go to the sugar. We will have some sugar. We're having to move things around all the time in this kitchen. So was we on tablespoons of sugar or teaspoons of sugar? Let's have a look. Tablespoons of sugar. If that sounds quite a lot. But we do need the sugar to help the yeast. So I'd have to put some of that in. Right, okay, that's the sugar in. Then we've got some sunflower oil, which is 3 tablespoons. Well, I didn't put sunflower oil, I used olive oil. So we'll pop some olive oil, and we better do that over here, knowing how messy I am. So we want 1, 2, 3. Okay, put that in the bowl, out of the way. We've done with that. And then we want skim milk. Well, it's skim milk powder or water, but we just use the milk. And that's 360 ml. If I can find it. It's quite good, the cup they gave me. It's got all the measurements on it. When I can find them, that is. Yeah, but I don't know if it goes up to 360.
No, it goes to...
It's 1.5 cups, so we'll measure it that way. Now Lisa likes to use almond milk, so we're going to put almond milk in.
Put it to the top, that's 1.
Yeah. Over there. The biggest job when we finish is always cleaning up the kitchen. Make sure I don't spill this everywhere. That can be quite accident prone. We've not used almond milk in bread before. I normally put skim milk in. So, let's find me off. Oh, that's Lisa taking over now. Can't see her. You got it? Her eyes are better than mine. Right, and we'll just pop the raspberries in. We don't know how many raspberries to put in, so we've got a tub that was open that we wanted to use, so we're just going to throw them in. So we'll just put them in and hope for the best. Put that out of the way. So that's that. Let's shut the lid. Sorry if you can hear the washing machine. I'll try and talk a bit louder, but it's gone on to spin. So it's quite loud. So we want basic loaf, program 1. We're on program 1, we're on large, I think actually. That's all set. So all we need to do is go. So it started the kneading process. That's going to take now about 3 hours, maybe about 3 hours, so we'll just leave that. So while that's doing, we're going to take you over to Hardwick Hall, I think then where I've been, Hardwick Hall, and I'm going to show you, Lisa, I'm going to show you what we've been up to at Hardwick Hall. Well, not so much what we've been up to, but what's there, and some pictures and a little bit of video. And we didn't do a lot, not much, but thought we'll show you. And it's quite good because it's educational, and Hardwick Hall is famous. It was owned by Elizabeth of Hardwick. Elizabeth Shrewsbury. She was the second richest woman alongside Queen Elizabeth I, and she was quite an influential woman. So yeah, it's quite educational. I won't go through all the educations of it or anything. I'll just show you where we've been, and then when we're finished, we'll come back to this, and hopefully we'll have a nice loaf of bread if it works out, a raspberry loaf. So we'll see you in a bit. I hope you enjoyed our little day out to Hardwick Hall. It's a really nice place to visit. If you're ever able to visit it, it's well worth it. And especially now as the old hall is in with the price of the new hall, if you remember, that is. If you're a member of National Trust or a member of English Heritage, you can go into both halls for the on the same card. So that's really good, because the last time I went there, you had to pay separate, one price for English Heritage and then another for the National Trust. But unfortunately we couldn't go in the old hall this time because it was closed. It's been renovated, but I believe now it's been reopened. So I've missed it by days. But they have announced that you can get into both halls on either membership. So that's really good. So yeah, now we're going to have a look at the bread, see how that's turned out. It's just beeped, and we're going to take it out and say, bring you down a little bit, or I'll bring you down, see if that can get us both in. I don't know. That's the only thing I can never get me and what I'm doing in. But oh, it seems to have risen anyway. See if we can get it out. There we go. See if we can just move this out of the way a moment, just to make a bit of space. Slide it along. Like I said, that's the only trouble. I couldn't put it right under there because of the cupboard and the lid. But if I could, it'd be a bit more space. Not a lot, but a bit. Anyway, let's just turn you down and we'll see if we can turn it out onto the plate. Right, that's come out okay. I think the paddle is stuck inside, so we've got to try and get the paddle out with this little implement. That should fetch it out if I catch hold of it. There you go. We'll pop that in the bowl behind, ready for washing up. So we'll just swing it round. Feels very soft, very moist. Towel wrap around it. There we are. And that's how it looks. As you can see, it's risen. It's nice and soft. It's red hot at the moment, so we're going to get my daughter to have a little taste test of it when it's cooled a bit. I mean, it's red hot.
You mean I can't just take the whole thing out?
No, you can't take the whole thing and just bite into it. But yeah, quite impressed with that. As long as the middle's cooked all right and she's happy with the taste, we'll call it a success. But we'll just leave it cool for a moment and then we'll just cut it in a little while and let you see how it tastes. Right, we're going to cut it. It's not totally cooled down. It's still quite hot, but Lisa said she likes to eat it warm, so we'll give it a try. Turn you down a bit so you can see, and a little bit more. Right then, see if we can cut the end off. Very, very soft. A nice bit of crust though as I'm cutting. Seems to be going through all right.
It's pink.
It is pink. Right, I'm just going to show you the colour because we put raspberries in. The raspberries have all sort of dissolved and munched up, but we've got a lovely pink bread which should taste of raspberries. So Lisa's going to have a try of it. I'll come back up a minute. So do you want to come in camera, Lisa, but watch you don't burn your mouth? Okay. And sort of have a bite and then tell us what you think it's like. It smells, does it smell so raspberry? Good. Lots of raspberry smells. Yeah, it's got a nice crust on it. It's formed a nice crust, which is what you want on the bread anyway. Yeah. And it's nice and moist inside, but obviously it's still wet at the minute. Wet, hot. I'm getting wet from. But yeah, it's nice and soft.
It just tastes like raspberries.
It does, pure raspberries.
Like you're actually just picking up a raspberry, putting it in your mouth and eating it. Like it doesn't taste like bread.
Oh wow.
It's dead strange.
So you can't taste really none of the almond?
Well. No.
No.
It's
So
like
just a pure raspberry bread.
really, really soft. And just tastes like, you know when you put a raspberry in your mouth
Yeah.
and then it melts in your mouth?
Yeah.
That's exactly what it's like.
Oh gosh, that does sound nice.
No, I'll see you later.
So you wouldn't even have to put butter or nothing like that with it? You wouldn't
No.
have to add nothing? It's just nice
No,
to eat?
it's dead nice on its
Bit like a
own.
raspberry cake then.
Yeah, kind of.
But obviously you've got the bread crust.
Yeah, it's I don't know how to explain it. It's like, I don't know. It's not like a cake and it's not like bread. It's just literally like picking up a raspberry and eating it.
Wow. Well,
Like
would
you
you
know
say
when you
that's
made the blueberry one,
yes?
and obviously you could taste that it was bread,
Yeah.
and it tasted really strong with blueberries as well. But it tasted like I eating a blueberry muffin, but obviously more blueberries than the shop ones.
Yeah.
But this is just like picking up a raspberry, and like if I was to go in the garden and pick it off your bush and pull it in my mouth and eat it, and it just melted in my mouth.
wow.
That's exactly what it tastes like.
So you'd call it a success?
Oh yeah,
Is it what you thought it would be or hoped it would be?
it's much better.
Better than what you hoped?
Yeah, much better.
So there we have it then. It's a success. We can make raspberry bread. So yeah, that's what it looks like. And the colour's nice and pink. And it's nice and soft. A success. I'm not sure how many raspberries I threw in there. It was just what was left in the packet. And we just threw them in anyway. So perhaps I should have weighed them out in case you wanted to have a go. But probably an handful, maybe an handful. You can see from looking at it roughly how many. Probably would say an handful. So that's it for today. Now I'll be back at the end of the week and we shall do something in the air fryer. And I don't know what yet. We'll find something to have a go at. So until then, take care of yourselves. Bye.